We were discussing about the parrot yesterday, remember? So we'll be just continuing over there, like regarding Linux. So we have performed what? We have performed your sudoku, remember yesterday? Sudoku was performed to switch your to become a root user, right? Super do user. Super do user. So we are trying to become a root user which is having the maximum of the privileges, right? Which is having the maximum of the privileges. Let me write it sudo su. So you can see it made me a root user because and this user is having the maximum of the privileges. So okay, we have performed what we have understood like yesterday. We talked about change directory, how to change the directory of a from going from one folder or one directory to another one. We talked about previous directory, current directory we'll discuss. List we have seen, right? To see what all things are inside the directory. Every content will be just displayed. Present working directory, clear, and whoami is also there. So the shortest command is your w, and what it does, it will be giving the information about the login data and the users who is currently on the machine and the process which are going right. Perfect. How to change the name? Can we change the name or rename a file? MV, right? Move command can help you to do that. Great. Okay. Uh, Fine. Let's get back to this. Let's talk about creating a file and all that part. So as I told you, if I want to create a file, what I will do, I will go with the touch command. Remember, the touch command was there to create a file. So for example, let's go to your desktop first. Okay, let's go to your desktop. Okay, I will do what? Let's create one directory. First of all, let's create a directory and directory with the name JCP. So tell me what should I write, guys? I want to create a directory with the name JCP. This good one. Uh, Apple, no. This is for directory. I told you touch for file name, but right now I'm not creating a file. I'm trying to create a directory, not a file. Perfect. So the command will be your mkdir JCP, right? So let's try it out. If I write mkdir, guys, make sure of one thing, okay? Your Linux is very case sensitive, okay? It's very case sensitive. So like for example, if I go to cd space dot dot going to previous directory, your panda. Now again, if I try to go to desktop, the very first line I will just do that. If I write cd desktop, right? What it says, no such file or directory, isn't it? So as I mentioned, you have Linux is very case sensitive. You have to make sure whatever you're typing, they are correct as per spelling and the letters and every that bit. So similarly, I will write with capital D. It takes me to the desktop. Okay, fine. So far clear. Now I have to create a directory. I will do mkdir and the directory name will be JCP. Hit enter, and if I do ls, now if I want to go inside this directory, what should I write? I will write cd jcp. Hit enter, and you can notice at the end we are inside your JCP directory, right? Wasn't it perfect? Even if I write pwd, which is to get my present working directory, it will also tell me that okay, that you are in your JCP. Pretty much fine. Now what we'll do inside this directory, we'll create some files. To create a file, I will do touch test.txt. Okay, touch space test.txt. Now if I do ls, is there is a file with the name test.txt? Yes, correct. Now I want to do what? I want to write something inside this. So we can go with your nano, right? So I will simply write nano test.txt. Hit enter. You will see that we got an editor over here, right? So I can write hello, welcome to the JCP, right? And to save it, what you need to do, if you can see on the left bottom, guys, correct, Arvind. So over here, what you have to do Control plus X. Okay. Once you do that, just here the left bottom. Okay. It says what? Save a modified buffer. So I want to save it. So I will do what? I will type Y. It says file name to write text. This one. Yes, I'm pretty much fine with that. So simply hit enter. Okay, and your file has been edited. Now, if I want to see what is written inside this file or what content is written inside this file, what will be the command for that? Read the file. It was cat and the file name test.txt, not JCP. Okay, test.txt. So if I hit enter now, so we got it right. This was the one which we wrote inside it, isn't it? Hello, welcome to the JCP. Correct. So we got it right. Perfect. And fine. This was to see what was written inside that file. Pretty much fine. Guys, there are two more, like, I forgot to mention. Head command is also there and tail command is also. Head is for to display the first 10 lines in that file. First or top 10 lines, you can say. Okay. Tail is for last 10 lines of the file. Okay. So suppose there is a file in which you have written a lot of paragraphs, many lines, many lines, many lines, many lines, many lines, many lines. So when you write head in that file name, it will display the only top 10 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like this. With the tail, the ending 10 lines will be displayed like this. So head will show you the top 10 lines, tail will give you last 10 lines. Perfect. Okay. Now see, I am right now in my JCP directory. Now what I want to do is I want to copy my file from JCP directory to desktop. There will be like copy command cp. Okay. Then source, from where you want to copy the file, like source slash, like till this point JCP slash the file name, you can say test.txt, and then here you have to mention the destination path as well. You have to mention your destination path as well. This will be the way. So try it, think about it. The second path, the where you have mentioned the desktop, no, that destination, you have to give it like, properly. But just writing a name won't take it, because I'm in JCP right now. I'm not inside my desktop, right? So I have to mention a path, a proper way to go there. So see, right now I'm in which directory? I'm inside my JCP directory, correct? Right now I'm inside my JCP directory, right? I'm inside my JCP directory. Pretty much fine with that thing. So what I will do now, I will simply write CP. Either I can do what? Either I can go with this way. E4 and D4 desktop JCP and test.txt. So this is my source, right? From where I want to copy. Got it? So this is one way I'm talking about. So either I can give the complete path, isn't it? I've given the complete path, right? From where I want to copy. And next, what I can do for the destination path, I can do the same. Slash home, slash P4 and D4, slash desktop. Correct? And if I hit now enter, if I hit enter now, if I do right, I have to go one directory back now. So I will do cd one dot dot and do ls. So guys, if even if I look at test.txt, you can see it's the same file. It is the same file. So I need to remove that file. So what should I write? Rm test.txt. If I do ls now again, you will notice that file has been removed. It is no more there. I'm pretty much fine with that also. The reason I did that, I wanted to show you another way. Now let's see. Let's suppose I am going back again to my JCP. Okay, file is there. Now I want to copy. I'm just showing one more way. Either I can do CP. Since I am in JCP already, since I'm in JCP already, and file is also in your JCP only, so I do not need to write the entire path again. So what I can do, either I can do simply test.txt, one way to do that. Okay, so let's stick to this. I can do cp.test.txt because I am inside that file. I do not need to write the entire path because I'm currently present in that directory. See, as I mentioned, if you want to copy something, you have to mention cp source from where you're mentioning it and the destination. Source slash file name. Okay. So if you can see over here, where is that? Where is that? In this copy part, right now I was in my JCP directory, right? Correct. So I can mention like already I'm in a JCP. So what I have done, first of all thing, I write CP and I mentioned the complete path: home, panda, desktop, JCP slash the file name, because this is the place from where I want to copy this thing. Oh, sorry, yeah, copy on. I want to copy this file. So I mentioned the entire path. Then space the place where I want to copy it. So that was the desktop. So one way is either I can write the entire path. That is one way. Another way was I was saying is, since as Manushi also mentioned, see, I'm already inside my JCP. Sorry, since I am already in my JCP, no, so I do not need to mention the path because that file is inside my JCP directory. So when I'm already in my JCP directory and that file is also present over there, I do not need to mention that path completely. Okay, so this will be a source directly. And for that destination, what I can do, if you remember, dot dot denotes what? And if I do that, and if I go back one more, like if I go back to desktop, if I do ls, can you see a file with the name text.txt is present now? Make sense? Right? Can be a bit confusing, but when you try it on your own, it will be pretty much, easy to understand. So see, this part, when I was in JCP, that's why I wrote test.txt. Okay, that is the reason I tried test.txt. Like for example, if I remove again, for example, if I remove test.txt from desktop again, I have removed that file. See, now right now, if you see, I'm inside my desktop folder. No, I'm inside my desktop directory. So if I want to copy that file from JCP to desktop, guys, I cannot write this thing test.txt. I cannot write that. Reason being, I am inside my desktop directory, and in desktop directory there is no test.txt file because I have removed it already. Missing destination file operand for first of all, like okay, even like if I write cat.txt test.txt, it will say it is not even taking that file. Like even if I write cp test.txt and if I write entire path home, uh, this p4 and d4 and desktop, cannot start test.txt, no such file or directory because it is not present in my desktop. I will do cp, and now look one thing, my file is inside my JCP. Either I can write again the whole path. Remember, this is one way, isn't it? This is one simplified way, but it is very lengthy. It is very lengthy. So this is one way, pretty much fair and square. So, okay, if I want to go in JCP, if I want to copy from something which is inside my desktop, which is a JCP directory, what I will do, if you remember, I told you there was this, either I can go with the JCP like this directly because it is inside your desktop. This is one way. Second way, I'm right now, okay, I can just simply do JCP this, okay, and test.txt. Is this point clear? What happened? I am already in my desktop, right? And since JCP is inside my desktop, so I can directly write JCP. And since test.txt is inside JCP, I can write test.txt. This is the same thing which we used or which we did earlier, like this at this point. Now, what I'm trying to say is, after this, either I can write again home, panda, desktop. I can write that again as well. That will also work for me. But why should I write the entire whole path? If you remember, I told you previously that single dot represents what? It represents your current directory, right? Perfect. So, since I want to copy this file to desktop, right? And my current directory is also desktop. So, can I simply write a dot over here in a destination place? And instead of writing that entire whole path slash home slash p4 and d4 slash desktop, instead of writing this, can I simply mention a dot which represents the current directory? Because right now I am inside my desktop only. In this condition in which I am right now, I am already inside my desktop directory. So instead of writing the entire whole path, I can simply mention a single dot because this is equals to this thing only. Because right now my current directory is your desktop. Make sense? Right? So if I simply hit enter and do ls now, you can see there is a file with the name test.txt. Okay, the file name is present over there. So this is the way how you can copy it. We have seen what remove is done, cat is done, this is done, this is done. Manual simply write mn and the command name. We'll see that make directory is done, copy is done. Okay, move, right? Guys, same thing will be the move. If I try to remove this file text.txt, okay, pretty much fine with that. Now see if I do ls, you can see. Sorry, if I do ls, you can see test.txt has been removed. Right, perfect. I want to move this file now. Same thing as your copy. Same thing will be for your move as well. Okay, the same thing. Nothing changed. Like only the command name mv. Okay, and after that mv, what you need to do is the source. Source can be either right jcp dot jcp test.txt, right? And the destination simply the dot again. And if I do that, hit enter, can you see the file is present over here with the name test.txt, correct? And if I go to my jcp, is there any file with the name test.txt present over there? No. which means we have successfully moved our file from JCP to your desktop. If I do ls-la test.txt, yeah. Can you see rw hyphen r hyphen hyphen and r hyphen hyphen? What are these? These are your guys permissions. These are what? These are your permissions. How they are defined, how they are structured, let me give you an idea for this one only. Uh, it is like this, okay? RWX, RWX, and RWX. You can also see RW hyphen X is missing, RW hyphen, RW hyphen. Three brackets. Okay. This one is for your, directory or that part. Since it is not directory, that's why it is not mentioned over here. Perfectly fine. Now see, with the very first one is for your what? You can say user. Like you can say, the owner of this file or that part. Second is a group. Third is for others. So according to this, we have defined the permissions for each and every one. Okay, first one bracket is for user, you know, and second is for group, and third is for your others. Now see one thing. Uh, how to change permission? I will show you that. There is a command with the name chmod. Okay, before that you need to see one thing. These every single permissions. R stands for your read, write, execute. R has a value 4, write is having a value 2, and execute is having a value 1. If I add all of them, what will I get? Watch carefully. Right now the permissions are rw hyphen r hyphen hyphen r hyphen hyphen. Now if I want to give them permissions like this, which we have just mentioned over here, like rwx, rwx, rwx. So for that, I will simply write chmod 7 for user, 7 for group, 7 for others, and the file name. If I hit enter now, and if I do ls-la again, are the permissions changed? Right? And are they the same which we were, trying for? RWX, RWX, RWX. So guys, similarly, we will do what? We will simply write change mod, change modification, you can say. Uh, chmod. If you calculate, for the first one, we have to do what? We have to write only RW hyphen. So R is having value 4, W is having value 2, 4 plus 2 gives us 6 because that is blank, no? Nothing is there. So I will write chmod, after that 6. For second one, we have what? 4, here nothing. For X, it is 1. So 4 plus 1 equals to 5. For last one, which is for others, we have RWX, all of these three. So 4 plus 2 plus 1, which gives me 7. So I will simply write chmod 6, 5, 7. Oh, I didn't type 6, 5, 7, and the file name. Hit enter. Can you see desired permissions? RW hyphen R hyphen X RWX. 444, the file name. This will do only read. Just showing a different method. Chmod. If I write, plus X and the file name, you will notice it will add execute to each and every one. So different ways are there. Okay. So I'm trying to give one by one. Okay, at least give an understanding how you can play around with these things. Okay, so this is also one way to do that. We'll continue tomorrow with the tracking part, but let me just give you the sample. You haven't exploited any vulnerability, right? Or got any kind of a root access in any VM machine? Okay, let's do one thing then. Uh, the sport scan. When you want to remove directory, you can write rmdir, which I just showed you. In case I haven't shown before. So we'll simply write ifconfig, got the IP. Now I want to know what is the IP of this. I want the IP of this machine without entering or without going inside this machine. If I can have up hyphen scan and like this dot 0/24, you can see we got 4 IPs over here, right? App scan does what? It maps your IPs with the MAC address in your internal network over there. So since we are in internal network, that's why I use app scan. Now tell me one thing. In this IP, why did I mention dot 0/24 on the last one? But this one, that's correct because it's the subnet. Because what is gonna happen? It will scan the entire subnet over here, like from 0.1, .2, .3, .4, .5, and the one which will be responding. Yes, Arvind, this is the last octet, right? So it means like /24. Why I'm doing that? That is totally into your IP. You can say this classes into domain routing, but there is another part. Will not go deep into it. But you can see in short, what I am doing is like 192.168.1.2.3.4.5 till your .255. It will scan all the entire thing, and it will check whatsoever IP is up, or which will be which is up. It will be just displaying those IPs right in front of me, right? So among here we have what we have your you can say network ID. We have your this default gateway. We have your broadcast IP, and the one which is left will be considered as your another machine's IP, which is your Metasploit IP. So I got my Metasploitable IP. I'm pretty much fine. I will simply copy it and I will try to scan it, right? Hyphen SS, you can say it is a stealth scan. I totally agree with that. That is the correct answer. How many ports does your stealth scan? Stealth scan? Nmap by default does your stealth scan? And always remember, guys, it is well known 1,000 ports. Okay, it is not like 1 2,000. It is well known 1,000. You can see randoms, right? Random numbers are there, random port numbers. So well known 1,000, not 1 2,000. If I want to scan 100 well known ports, I will simply write nmap -f and IP. I can see it has a scan 82 closed. I didn't mention the verbose, otherwise you had seen that. 82 closed ports, and rest of them are your 18 open ports. So in total, it will be scanning your 100 well-known ports. Got it? If I want to scan from 1 to 100, so if I want to write something like nmap, I want to scan 1 to 100, starting 1 to 100, right? So this 1 to 100, and simply do that, and you will notice it scanned 100 ports, 6 are open, and you can say it is not random or well-known ports, right? Because they are in systematic order. Can you see? Not exceeding the number 100 over here, correct? And if you want to specify one single port, you can do that by just writing like this. That's it. Now, before ending up or wrapping it up, just wanted to show you one thing. Uh, if you want to scan the vulnerabilities, there are ways. I guess you might have seen that previously as well. You can say nmap -sc. What does this command do? -sv is for your service version. -s is to run your well-known scripts. -f is for your 100 ports, well-known 100 ports, and that's it. If I do hit enter, let it be. It will take time. Rather than going this way, what I'm gonna do is, guys, I'm targeting one single port because it will take time to scan, and run all those scripts. That's the reason. Uh, what did I do wrong? Sorry. Yeah, my bad. -s is to run your well-known scripts. There are a lot of scripts present in your Nmap. Can you see these many scripts, everyone? If you ask me what is the number, this how many scripts are there? Correct. So out of these 600, your -sc will run some well-known scripts for that particular port number F21. Okay, and it will also do check out your service version as well. So if you look over here, service version is VSFTPD 2.3.4, which we can take an advantage after searching out what all vulnerabilities this version is having. And more than that, when we run some scripts now, we found out that anonymous FTP login is allowed, right? And it is vulnerable. Rest of the scripts you can say we'll see tomorrow. In here, if you can see, Manushi, I will get back to it. Just okay after this. First of all, can you see we have a lot more scripts related to your FTP port, right, guys? Just related to your FTP, correct? So when I did -sc, no, -sc didn't run all of these scripts. It might have done selective ones. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see how to manually implement these scripts and run them. All right, to find out the vulnerabilities. Okay, and regarding this command, once again, I'm just mentioning it. Nmap-p port number I'm targeting 21, which is a FTP port. -sv is for your service version, right? -sc is for your well-known scripts, to run the well-known scripts to find out vulnerabilities are over there in that particular IP. So if you look over here, we got what? We got service version, and few scripts are also run. See FTP and FTP syst, and that's it. So if I show you over here, can you see FTP anon and FTP syst is here?